Thanks for watching the quick video. I sometimes struggle to articulate myself in writing. I'm going to try and talk super fast so this won't take too long. The other day I was up on the Canal Trail. I saw this painted in the road. This is a canal easement only, no trespassing. So I went and met with the mayor, Mark Nilsson, Russ Aquino, Lance Hauser, about what's going on with the trail and the park. You know, with the trail, we went from something that looked kind of like this, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. I know the mayor likes the wider, flatter, open, but I think most people like it more like this. You know, at the Lundstrom Park area, you know, this is what they got out of the canal breaking, and we got this wide industrial road. And I know the city spent a ton of money and effort on putting this in. I also know the citizens are paying extra for some of it, but not all of it. And I mean, these are huge, expensive rocks here. And I really feel adamantly that we need water back in that park, and at least the part of the trail that's below the canal break. I was told by Mark Nilsson he thought that could be engineered in, but they're not going to do that this year. At the canal break, we talked about getting water to run through the park there, and Mark Nilsson assured me that they're putting piping in right now or very shortly, and it would be very easy to put in a shutoff valve and pipe water down to the park area there. And but it was Russ Aquino and the Parks Department job then to move that water. And I included a video in the email that shows it's already graded, and water would flow really easy. A culvert's already there for it to go to. And so I went and met with Russ about that, but there wasn't, you know, he said he could maybe do it later. In an attached email I sent you, you know, it says when they have money, but I just personally don't believe if we can't do it right now, we can't do it later. Another piece with the park there is where the hillslide was. The plan for the trail is to do this big whoop-de-doo and jog through that area. And according to Lance, it's going to be so steep that somebody would probably have to pull their stroller up it. They probably couldn't push up it. And I think we can do better. I met with a landscape architect that builds a lot of roads and is very familiar with soils in the Bonneville, where Lake Bonneville was, and he thought that the trail could easily, there'd be a way that we could shore it up. At one point, there was even talk about doing a bridge. I don't know why. At one point, we thought we had money for a bridge, but now we can't even find money to put a little stream through it when the water's right there. Another person, I had to go look at it. A friend of mine works with someone at the university that teaches in soil science or in hydrology, and I thought I had their email. Here it is. From his perspective, the site can sustain a level trail wide enough for people to pass along. He just doesn't want it as wide as that lower part, which I don't think many people really do. And so, but the Lance's perspective is we can't put something up there, and I really think that I'd like to see Lance and the city engineers meet with these other people and scratch their head for a few before we just write it off, and see if maybe somebody has a concept for how we could flatten that out. But, you know, I come from Pioneer Stock. I know 100 years ago I would have been on the side of that cliff figuring out how we can move water to the valley. And it's just, in my opinion, not good enough that 100 years later we've gotten so soft that where the canal break was, we can't even figure out how to get a trail in there that's level enough that we could push a stroller on. And I'm very passionate about this. I'm passionate about Logan. You know, the reason I invested in the island market isn't because that's the best way to make money. It's because I think it's the best way to get people to move back to the area and increase owner occupancy, is to have a really vibrant market there. I think having an incredible trail that takes people from downtown clear up the canyon is a great way for us to differentiate ourselves. And this trail that went from what I thought was just this beautiful canal trail to this really wide, open thing, and then to put a park in that's mostly just grass just isn't good enough. You know, I think that we need to do a dog park there. Right now, one of the biggest complaints is dogs being off their leash along that trail, and I think some of it is dog owners take their dog out. They know their dog wants to run and scratch and sniff, and if no one's around, they kind of feel like it's jaywalking in the middle of the night to let it off so it can run for a few. I'm absolutely convinced, although it's counterintuitive, if we put a dog park there, that then people could run with their dog, step into the dog park, let the dog run for a while, and then put it back on a leash and run. And I think the city could, just like they had to do with the Highline Trail, really step up and enforce dogs on leash, and I think would solve that problem. You know, I think one of the worst uses of taxpayers' dollars is put in a trail that few people are going to, or a park few people are going to use. You know, if it's for tranquility while we're doing it, well, then it should have water that runs by it. But if all we're going to do is put in grass, not many people are going to use it other than that access point. We're spending a ton of money. We're encumbering future generations with maintaining that, but we're not creating something that's really useful. And I think that there has to be a measure for how useful it could be. You know, maybe having one of those little workout areas with pull-up bars and different ways for people to work out is something that could be considered. I've seen those recently at different parks. And so, unfortunately, as you see from the email link from Russ, I wasn't successful in convincing the administration to pursue something a little nicer, in my opinion, and more useful. And so, unfortunately, I'm going to engage in a campaign to get this better and more usable. And unfortunately, that is going to include, I guess, two greatest pastimes in America are hating the landlord and then people hating government. And so that's a tactic that I feel obligated to engage in to do better. And I want you to know that it's nothing personal. And I did reach out and try to do this in a different, proactive way. But I do feel very compelled to try and motivate the citizens to push for a better trail. If any of you have a better idea, or if you think I'm wrong and that this is the best the city can do, or you feel there's a way to negotiate or find some middle ground without public squabbling and a big push, I would love to hear from you. I respect all of you. I really respect employees. You know, it kind of breaks my heart that if some of this is reflected negatively on the employees, because I know the hard work that they do. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry that some of my actions are offensive, but I guess I have a priority.